Rain tapped softly against the windows of the small cafe, blurring the world outside into streaks of gray. Inside, everything felt warmer: coffee brewing, quiet chatter, the gentle hum of life going on. But at a corner table, one woman sat alone, staring at an empty chair across from her, the chair that was supposed to be filled 30 minutes ago. She checked her phone again. No message. No explanation. Just silence. Her fingers tightened around her cup as disappointment settled deep in her chest. This wasn't just a missed meeting. It felt like something bigger slipping away. Before we begin this story, take a moment to support the channel. If stories like this touch your heart, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Welcome to Corner of Kind Choices, where small acts of kindness create powerful stories. Emily had almost convinced herself to leave when a man approached her table. He looked slightly out of breath, like he had rushed in from the rain. His jacket was damp, his hair a little messy, and his eyes scanned her face with a mix of hope and confusion. "Hey. I'm really sorry I'm late," he said, pulling out the chair across from her. Emily blinked, startled. "I'm sorry," she said gently, offering a polite smile, "I think you have the wrong table." The man froze. His expression shifted quickly from relief to embarrassment. "Oh wow, I'm so sorry. I thought. I mean," he rubbed the back of his neck awkwardly. "I guess I messed that up." For a brief moment, there was silence. Then something unexpected happened. Emily laughed softly. Not because it was funny, but because it broke the heaviness sitting in her chest. "It's okay," she said. "Honestly, I was waiting for someone who clearly isn't coming." The man hesitated, then smiled, just a little. "Well, looks like we've both been stood up today." There was something strangely comforting about that shared disappointment. It made the empty chair feel less lonely. "I'm Jake," he said, extending his hand. "Emily," she replied, shaking it. There was another pause, but this time, it wasn't awkward. It was open, like a door waiting to be stepped through. Jake glanced at the empty chair, then back at her. "Would it be too weird if I sat here anyway?" he asked. "I mean, two strangers getting stood up at the same cafe on the same day, it kind of feels like fate trying to make up for something." Emily looked at him, studying his face. There was sincerity there. No pressure, no expectations, just a simple offer. She could have said no. She could have walked away, stayed guarded, kept her disappointment to herself. But instead, she nodded. "Yeah," she said softly. "You can sit." And just like that, something small shifted. They started with light conversation: how long they'd been waiting, what they had ordered, how unpredictable people could be. But slowly, the conversation deepened. Emily shared how she had recently moved to the city for a fresh start. A new job, a new apartment, a new life. But sometimes, she admitted, it felt more lonely than exciting. Jake listened carefully, not interrupting, not trying to fix anything. Just listening. Then he shared his own story: how he had been trying to reconnect with someone from his past, hoping to rebuild something that once mattered. But maybe, he admitted, some things weren't meant to come back. There was no judgment between them. Just understanding. As the rain continued outside, time seemed to slow down inside the cafe. What started as a mistake began to feel meaningful. At one point, Emily laughed, a real laugh this time, the kind that surprises you when you didn't think you had it in you. Jake smiled when he heard it, like it mattered more than he expected. And maybe it did. Hours passed without them noticing. Eventually, the rain stopped. The cafe began to empty. Reality started to return. Emily glanced at the clock. "Wow. I didn't even realize how late it got." "Me neither," Jake said. "Funny how that happens." There was a moment again, one of those quiet crossroads where something could either end, or continue. Jake reached into his pocket, hesitating for just a second. "Hey. I know this started as a total accident," he said, "but I'd really like to see you again. No mix-ups this time." Emily looked at him, her heart feeling lighter than it had all day. She thought about how close she had been to leaving. How close she had been to missing this entirely. She smiled. "I'd like that," she said. They exchanged numbers, but more than that, they exchanged something harder to define, a sense of hope. As they walked out of the cafe together, the sky had cleared. The streets glistened from the rain, reflecting the city lights in a way that made everything feel new. They paused at the corner, where their paths would split. "Thanks," Emily said suddenly. "For what?" Jake asked. "For sitting at the wrong table," she replied. He laughed softly. "Best mistake I've made in a while." They said goodbye, but it didn't feel like an ending. It felt like the beginning of something neither of them had planned but both of them needed. Over the next few weeks, they met again. And again. What started as shared disappointment grew into friendship. And slowly, that friendship turned into something deeper. But what made it special wasn't just the connection. It was the kindness that started it all. Jake didn't have to stay. Emily didn't have to say yes. But they both chose openness over hesitation. Kindness over distance. And because of that, two strangers found something real in a moment that could have easily been forgotten. Months later, Emily returned to that same cafe. This time, she wasn't alone. Jake sat across from her, the same seat he had accidentally taken the first time. They both smiled as they remembered. "Still think I had the wrong table?" he teased. Emily shook her head gently. "No," she said. "I think it was the right one all along. Life doesn't always go the way we plan. Sometimes people don't show up. Sometimes things fall apart. But every now and then, something unexpected happens. A wrong turn leads to the right place. A mistake becomes a moment. A stranger becomes someone who changes your life. And it often starts with something simple. A conversation. A smile. A small act of kindness. So the next time life doesn't go as planned, don't rush away too quickly. You never know who might be walking toward your table. And you never know what kind of story is waiting to begin. Because sometimes, the wrong table is exactly where you're meant to be. And sometimes, kindness is the quiet force that turns everything around.